August 17th, 2018. Takoradi, the calm coastal city of Ghana's western region, a city of trade, laughter, and promise. But on this day, the calm was broken. A young woman, Priscilla Blessing Bentum, just 21 years old, a student at the University of Education, Winneba. She left her home at Diabena and never came back. Her family called her phone again and again. No answer. They searched through the night, the markets, the taxi stations, the streets. By morning, the fear was taking hold. Days turned into weeks. Her mother's voice was heard on Takoradi's radio stations, pleading with anyone who had seen her daughter to come forward, but there was silence. Then, another girl vanished. December 4th, 2018. Her name? Ruth Love Quayson, 18 years old. She had gone out to meet a man who promised her a job. She never returned. The community was on edge now. 2 disappearances, same town, same strange circumstances. And then, as though the darkness had found rhythm, December 21st, 2018, Priscilla Mantebea Koranchie, 15 years old, a student of secondary college. She left home to meet someone at Nkrofo Junction. She too was never seen again. 3 young girls, 3 families, 1 city gripped by fear. Rumors filled the air. The people of Takoradi took to the street demanding answers. Police intensified their search. And finally, in January 2019, there was a breakthrough. Police arrested a man named Samuel Udoetuk Wills, a Nigerian national living in Kasaworondo, a suburb of Takoradi. He was linked to the kidnapping of one of the girls after police traced phone records and suspicious calls. When his room was searched, they found ropes, pieces of cloth, and a stained mattress. The neighborhood fell silent in shock. The whispers turned into gasps of horror. But what came next would shake the entire nation. Because weeks after the arrest, Samuel Wills escaped police custody. It sounded impossible, but it happened. January 19th, the man believed to have answers to the fate of the 3 girls slipped out from behind bars. The public was furious. The trust in the police began to crumble. National outrage spread across radio and television. How could the one man who might know the truth be free again? Days later, Wills was recaptured at Nkrofo.
During his trial for escaping, on February 11, 2019, Wills told the court that a CID officer and a man named Kwesi had helped him break out. Police said they would investigate, but after today, no one has heard what came out from the investigation. Not long after his rearrest, Wills mentioned another girl, Ruth Abakah. She had gone missing earlier that year, around July 2018, before all the others. At that time, her story didn't make headlines. But now, looking back, it was clear. She was the first to be kidnapped.
On April 2nd, 2019, a message came. The Director General of the CID, Mamiya Tiwa Adodankwa, stood before cameras and gave the nation what sounded like a miracle. She said, "We know where the girls are. They are safe."
Together with the BNI, we've worked very well, and currently we know where the girls are.
The room erupted in relief. Across Ghana, hope returned. Mothers cried tears of joy. Families danced in the streets. After months of agony, they believed their daughters were alive. But as the weeks went by, no girls returned. No proof was shown, and the families began to question the promise. Days turned into months. The optimism slowly turned into anger. The families went to the CID office demanding answers. They were told investigations are still ongoing. By mid-2019, hope had turned to despair. The public began to wonder, had the police spoken too soon? Had the truth been hidden? Then, in August 2019, police received a tip-off that would shatter the little hope remained. A property at Kasaruodo, where Samuel Wills once lived, became the focus again. Officers returned to the scene and began to dig behind the house. A crowd gathered. The air was tensed. And then they found it. Buried deep in the ground were human remains. The bodies were exhumed and sent to Accra for forensic examinations. Families prayed, wept, begged for it not to be true. But weeks later, when the DNA results came back, the truth was undeniable. The remains were confirmed to be those of Priscilla Blessing Bentum, Ruth Love Quayson, and Priscilla Mantebea Koranchie. The girls were gone. The CID's earlier assurance that they were safe had been false. The nation was broken. The families collapsed in tears. Takoradi was silent, and the province that once brought hope now brought only pain. Across Ghana, people asked, how did this happen? How could those sworn to protect and reassure us get this so wrong? Who speaks for the dead when the living have failed them? In Takoradi, the Takoradi missing story had become something far larger than a crime. It was now a mirror reflecting a nation's broken systems, broken trust, and broken hearts. In the months that followed, two men, Samuel Udoetuk Wills and John Oji, were charged with kidnapping and murder. Their trial began at the Secondary High Court, where families sat quietly each day, clutching faded photographs of their daughters they'd lost. Evidence were presented, phone records, witness testimonies, forensic links. The details were chilling. The methodical way the girls were lured, promises of jobs, trust, and safety all turned into traps. The case dragged for years, but finally, in March, the verdict came. The judge's voice echoed through the courtroom. Samuel Udoetuk Wills and John Oji, guilty. The sentence? Death by hanging. The courtroom fell still. For some, it was justice. For others, too little too late. Because no punishment could bring back what was lost, the laughter, the dreams, the future of innocent girls who trusted the wrong voices. In 2019, Ghana believed. In 2023, Ghana learned. The case of the Takoradi missing girls became a lesson written in grief, that institutions must tell the truth, that promises carry weight, and that behind every headline is a home that may never heal. For the police, the trial was a reckoning. For the nation, it was an awakening. For the families, it was the end of hope. Every year on August 17th, candles are lit at the Takoradi shore. Their names: Priscilla Bentum, Ruth Quayson, Priscilla Koranchie, are whispered into the sea breeze. The water carries those names to the horizon that never answers back. We tell their stories not to open wounds, but to remind ourselves what happens when vigilance sleeps, when truth is delayed, and when evil hides behind friendly voices. Because somewhere tonight, another phone will ring. Another young girl will hear a promise that sounds too good. And maybe, just maybe, someone remembering this story will stop her before it's too late. The Takoradi missing girls were more than victims. They were daughters, students, dreamers. Their lives reminds us that a nation's strength is not measured by its oil or its roads, but by how fiercely it protects its own children. May their souls rest, and may Ghana never forget.